It's 2 a.m. You spent 7 hours building a new character, min-maxing the stats, and writing a meticulous backstory. You want to roll some dice, but your friends are asleep. So you open a standard AI chatbot. You tell it you're a rogue entering a tavern, and for the first few turns, the simulation feels incredibly real. The bot describes the creaking floorboards, the smell of ale, and asks for an initiative roll. But by turn 5, the illusion collapses. The tavern owner suddenly has a different name. The goblin you tied up is mysteriously gone. And that magical longsword you looted? The AI has completely forgotten it exists. The problem here is structural. Standard large language models are designed to predict the next word in a sequence based on statistical probability. They are not state managers, which means they do not have a built-in mechanism for object permanence. Because a standard AI lacks a hard-coded mathematical game state, persistent role-playing is impossible. Any attempt at a long-term adventure quickly degrades into a disjointed, contradicting hallucination. This specific failure is what an independent developer named Justin set out to solve. Working entirely outside the major corporate tech labs, he built an open-source project called Dungeon Master OS. His solution relies on a concept called harness engineering. This involves wrapping an unpredictable language model inside a rigid, deterministic runtime environment. The AI generates the prose, but the harness forces it to obey strict mathematical rules before that text ever reaches the screen. This architecture effectively gives the system an infinite context window. It tracks an endless amount of campaign history, and because the code is open source, it does it without charging the user a dime. Treating the language model as just one module of a larger engine, rather than the entire brain, reframes the 2 a.m. problem. It stops being an AI limitation and becomes a solvable software engineering challenge. To cure chatbot amnesia, DMSOS splits every execution step into 2 completely separate processing layers. System 1 is the front-facing DM persona. This layer is dedicated entirely to creative writing. It handles the atmospheric prose, voices the non-player characters, and enforces the rule of cool to keep the game fun. Behind that facade is System 2, the Chronicler. This is a silent, internal world engine. As a player, you never interact with it, and it never speaks directly to you. Operating entirely in the background, the Chronicler generates and updates structured JSON schemas. It tracks exact spatial topology, adjusts character health, and manages off-screen faction movements while the DM persona narrates. By completely separating narrative flair from rigid data tracking, the digital world functions like a physical space. The system retains hard facts, ensuring the environment continues reacting even when you aren't looking. Managing this massive long-term memory requires the integration of the WFGY Universal Unification Framework, a specialized semantic reasoning engine designed to handle complex logic over extended periods. At the end of every turn, this framework triggers a 4-module self-healing loop. It automatically audits the AI's logic against established facts, searching for continuity errors or rule violations. If it detects a failure, it records a parameter on a scar ledger. This physically repels the AI's logic path away from past mistakes. It cross-references actions against a massive semantic tree. If you steal a chicken, guards will remember it weeks later. This rigorous, continuous self-auditing ensures the model adheres to its own history, making the AI structurally incapable of breaking established lore. But a strict, mathematically enforced sandbox raises a structural question. In a procedurally generated world governed by an unyielding chronicler, who is actually in control when the campaign hits a wall? DMOS handles this through an out-of-character, or OOC, protocol. It's a manual override command that requires a unique, session-specific password to authenticate. This protocol grants you absolute creator status. It bypasses the Dungeon Master persona, allowing you to speak directly to the engine and issue undeniable commands. You gain mechanical god powers, spawn magical items in your inventory, change the weather mid-combat, or retroactively resurrect a fallen member. Giving players true agency in an infinite simulation means building a system strict enough to enforce rules, but flexible enough to let you manually override the machine without breaking the code. Despite this engineering complexity, the developer is explicit about one thing. DMOS is not designed to replace a human dungeon master. It acts as a what-if machine and a character lab. It exists to live alongside traditional tabletop sessions, providing a space to test a new build or explore a narrative without the pressure of a full party. The broader significance lies in the architecture. An independent creator utilized knowledge graphs and a deterministic sandbox to achieve a level of memory retention that outperforms multi-billion-dollar corporate language models. By mastering semantic memory and dual persona architecture, the 2AM problem has a solution. You now have a free, infinite procedural playground ready to roll the dice whenever the mood strikes.